This message is finding you because something has already shifted beneath the surface and your spirit sensed it before your eyes could catch up. God is supporting your life right now, not someday in the future, not when everything is figured out, but in this very moment exactly where you are. Because of that, the season of constant worry you've been living in is starting to fade. You may not yet see everything change on the outside, but you can feel it within you. Your body feels different, your thoughts are softer, your breathing is calmer. The weight that once sat heavily on you is slowly lifting. The emotional load you carried for so long is loosening. The pressure to have all the answers on your own is easing. This isn't wishful thinking, it's awareness. The energy around you is shifting and your soul recognizes it. God is replacing striving with support, anxiety with certainty, and exhaustion with strength that doesn't come from you. You were never meant to carry your destiny through fear, overthinking, or non-stop effort. Something sacred is stepping in now. A divine flow has been set in motion, one that doesn't depend on people, systems, or explanations. You are being sustained, protected by order you can't see, and surrounded by provision that doesn't rise and fall. Even if your life still looks the same on the surface, inside you are already adjusting to a new reality. You are no longer alone in carrying the responsibility. The heaviness you grew used to was never meant to last. It was a sign you were holding more than you were meant to. That weight is being removed. God is funding your life in every way, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and yes, even practically. You are breathing differently now. The shift has already begun and the old rules no longer apply. Right now you are being asked to pause, not because things have stopped moving, but because alignment is taking place. Take a breath and allow yourself to rest in the knowing that you don't have to force what is already unfolding. This season isn't about pushing harder, it's about receiving more deeply. Alignment creates what effort never could. When you stop battling internally, you make room for a divine response. Let the urgency that once controlled your thoughts soften. Let the tension melt away. Resting here doesn't mean you're falling behind, it means you're catching up with what heaven already set in motion. When you believe, when you speak, when you write, when you intentionally agree with what is happening, something responds. Words spoken from belief carry power. Intention aligned with truth creates movement. That's why this moment matters. Stay with this message not because you have to, but because something inside you knows its confirmation. Allow your spirit to tune into a frequency that restores trust and expectation. Write your desires not as fragile hopes but as clear signals that you are ready. Type 555 not as a ritual but as a declaration that you are open to receiving instead of striving. This is not a pause in your life, it is a recalibration within it. The energy you hold and the intention you release are active forces. Today you are choosing provision, ease, and support over fear and lack, and that choice activates response. You didn't arrive at this moment by chance and you didn't get here without sacrifice. You've lived through seasons that required quiet strength. Nights when no one saw your tears. Moments when you had to keep moving forward without encouragement. Times when it felt like you were carrying more than your share while others seemed untouched by the weight. You learned how to stand when support vanished, how to give when your own supply felt empty, how to believe without proof. There were sacrifices no one celebrated and decisions no one understood. Doors closed without explanation, calls that never came, progress that felt invisible. Yet you stayed. You kept going. What you didn't know then was that nothing went unnoticed. Every moment of patience, every restrained reaction, every time you chose to stay open instead of shutting down was seen. The silence wasn't abandonment, it was preparation. The waiting wasn't punishment, it was shaping you for what comes next. You weren't being held back because you weren't ready. You were being strengthened because what was ahead of you required depth, stability, and trust. Even in moments when it felt like you were being overlooked, you were actually being protected from stepping in too soon. None of your struggle was wasted. Every quiet night, every unanswered prayer, every long season of endurance became part of the foundation for what you are entering now. Hear this clearly. The signal has shifted. Permission has been given. Doors are opening in front of you, some before you even realize you've reached them. What once felt limited is no longer being withheld. And what is being released now goes far beyond simply getting by. God isn't just helping you survive. He is providing what will sustain you, lift you, and surround you with support. The anxiety that once filled your inner world is fading, and ease is beginning to take its place. This provision isn't only about finances. It shows up as favor that moves ahead of you, ideas that unlock opportunity, protection that quietly redirects harm, and connections that feel purposeful rather than random. You are entering a phase where things don't just work out, they fall into place. What used to take exhausting effort now begins to flow with unexpected ease. You're no longer forcing outcomes. You're walking into spaces that were already prepared for you. You were never forgotten and you were never being punished. You were being prepared for provision that cannot be revoked. The season where you were simply trying to survive was never meant to last. It was a place of formation. Survival shaped your discernment, your patience, and your resilience. It taught you how to endure without hardening and how to hope without guarantees. At the time it didn't feel like growth, it felt like barely making it. But now that season is giving way to abundance, and that abundance is rising directly from what you learned in lack. God isn't erasing your past. He's using it to support your future. The endurance built in waiting is becoming the strength that can now carry overflow with wisdom. This isn't about being rewarded for trying harder. It's about alignment with who you are. You're not being supported because you finally did enough. You're being supported because of your identity. A chosen one, entrusted with purpose that requires divine backing. Scarcity taught you responsibility. Waiting taught you trust. And now abundance is emerging, not to distract you, but to empower you. Survival is no longer your assignment. Provision is. Pay attention to the subtle ways things are beginning to align around you. There's a sense of familiarity in how people, opportunities, and moments are coming together, as if your soul recognizes them before your mind fully understands. That's alignment. Not coincidence, but intentional design. What once felt like delay is now revealed as a hidden shortcut. What felt like silence was space for preparation. You were never late. You were never out of order. No system, no mistake, no unexpected turn, no detour can override what God has already approved. You were approved long before you became aware of it. This is why what feels like stillness is actually divine tension, the stretch before breakthrough, the pause that ensures precision. The timing is exact. The resources are in place. The doors are ready. Even if your current view doesn't fully show it yet, provision is already moving toward you. Life itself is responding to alignment and you are standing within it. Every conversation, every moment of inspiration, every opening will feel familiar because it was always meant to arrive this way. And when it does, peace will come with it. The delays were never rejections, they were adjustments. What looked like absence was actually preparation. God's provision cannot be cancelled, stopped, or postponed beyond the moment designed for you. This is why you can let go of worry. This is why you can breathe more deeply. What is coming cannot be undone. It was written long ago and is now unfolding with exactness and grace. Understand this, chosen one, when God supports your life, it is never barely enough. It is always more than sufficient. Provision is meant to overflow. It's designed to fill your life with peace, strength, clarity, and confidence that don't depend on circumstances, strategies, or human systems. The source has never been a job, a paycheck, a platform, or an opportunity. The source is God. When He moves, multiplication defies logic and what once seemed impossible becomes normal. The timing may look unusual, but it is always intentional. The inner shift always comes first. Your perspective changes, your trust deepens, your peace expands, and your endurance grows before there is any outward proof. The change you feel inside is the sign that provision is already active. Once it starts, it doesn't fail. You'll notice it in the way you respond, in how you think, and in the choices you make. You move differently, rest differently, and carry yourself with a new steadiness. In this season, provision doesn't depend on hustle or proving yourself. It doesn't require overextending or burning out. It shows up quietly, steadily, and powerfully, reshaping not just what you have but how you move through life. Divine support is whole, abundant, and unstoppable. Before long, you'll see clear evidence in everyday moments. It may begin with small things, a bill covered at the last moment, a call returned unexpectedly. A door opening that once felt sealed shut. Those moments add up until they can't be ignored. Support from above begins to feel natural. You stop trying to control everything. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop draining yourself trying to make things work. Stress eases. Anxiety loosens its grip. Things begin to align without effort, and you recognize that this isn't chance or calculation. It's divine order at work. What once felt like lack now reveals itself as preparation for something greater. As these moments build, trust replaces control and you become aware of unseen guidance shaping your path. Provision feels seamless because it's carried by a system that never fails, never grows tired, and never pulls away. Your everyday experiences become signs of a much larger movement working in your favor, and each confirmation deepens your alignment with what is already unfolding. Now you are stepping into a new rhythm. The constant grind that once defined your days is replaced by flow. Effort gives way to ease. Fear fades and confidence rises naturally. You're no longer scrambling or stretching yourself thin to force what is already being released. Rest becomes part of the design, not an afterthought. You move out of reaction and into alignment with divine timing. Your pace is guided by grace, not urgency. Confusion clears, momentum returns, and energy replaces exhaustion. Every step feels intentional, every decision supported by something greater than circumstance. This rhythm is sustained. It carries momentum without burnout and makes room for creativity, clarity, and courage to flourish. You're no longer stuck in survival mode. You're moving in a flow of abundance that was carefully arranged for you. This new rhythm is proof that God's hand is not only present but active and precise, reshaping your life from the inside out. As this settles into place, others begin to notice without you saying a word. They see it in your presence. Your peace, your confidence, and your calm assurance. You won't feel the need to explain because the results speak for themselves. Growth reveals the source. Outcomes confirm the process. Quiet authority and spiritual depth become part of how you're recognized. Those who once questioned your path will now observe the change and wonder how it happened. You won't need to justify it. You move forward quietly, confidently, and grounded, knowing what they see is the result of divine design, not personal striving. The shift is both internal and external. Your energy, your influence, and your opportunities now reflect favor beyond effort. God's provision doesn't stay hidden. It becomes visible in a way that invites others to recognize the transformation at work in your life. You are a living example of alignment, preparation, and divine backing, and there is no denying what God has authorized over your life. As God supplies what you need, your influence grows and your capacity stretches. Doors that once felt sealed shut now open with ease. What used to exhaust you now moves forward with surprising speed and clarity. Opportunities that once required compromise or overreaching now come with confidence and peace, making it easy to embrace what fits your purpose and decline what does not. A deeper spiritual authority is rising within you, sharpening your ability to discern people, timing, and decisions with wisdom that comes from God. More and more, your actions and steps are guided by heaven's strategy rather than human effort. What once depended on hustle now flows through alignment. What once took strain now takes faith. You are stepping into a season where heaven supports your execution, where provision and opportunity meet and create momentum that keeps multiplying. This growth is deliberate, personal, and unstoppable. You are no longer confined by human limits. God is expanding your reach, accelerating your impact, and equipping you to do far beyond what you once imagined. Understand this clearly: you have moved from being self-made to being God-backed, and this shift is complete and permanent. You no longer have to chase opportunities because they are drawn to you. The right people are not convinced or controlled, they are divinely placed alongside you to walk with your destiny. The vision inside you is being resourced at the right time with exact divine timing, and every detail is arranged for maximum impact. Provision is no longer scattered or partial, it is whole, precise, and unstoppable. You no longer need to push, struggle, or prove yourself. Doors open before you even reach for them. Your assignments are recognized and activated by heaven itself. This divine sponsorship is intentional, deep, and irreversible. You are being lifted into a reality where every step carries divine legitimacy. Every release, every favor, every opportunity serves a purpose and confirms that God is not just blessing you, He is fully, permanently, and openly backing you. With this comes an inner transformation. Your mind shifts from panic to awe. Where you once worried about lack, confusion, or loss, you now pause in wonder at how perfectly heaven arranges things. Struggle gives way to ease, anxiety to trust, doubt to expectation. You discover a steady inner peace that does not rely on circumstances, a calm that remains even when things feel uncertain, and gratitude begins to rise naturally within you. Confidence is no longer built on the approval of people but rooted in the steady rhythm of divine provision. Every challenge, delay, and once overwhelming moment now becomes a place where insight, clarity, and growth emerge. Your emotions, reactions, and daily choices are being reshaped by the understanding that the source of your life, your work, and your calling is limitless, dependable, and always present. You are awakening to a new way of seeing. One that moves with wonder, receives without fear, and expects what once felt impossible. Chosen one, understand this deeply: the overflow you are entering is about legacy, not temporary gain. Provision is no longer something that happens occasionally, it is becoming a lasting system. The old patterns of struggle, striving, and lack no longer define you. Spiritual reserves are being built that do not run dry. Grace and favor are being placed on your life in ways that cannot be taken, imitated, or undone. Your identity as one chosen by God is permanent. This is not short-term relief or a partial blessing, it is the groundwork for a lifetime of influence. What you touch, what you build, and the lives you affect are all sustained by the same eternal source. You are being positioned to leave an impact that rises above circumstance, failure, or human limitation. Abundance is no longer something that comes and goes, it is now part of who you are. The way you are being supported ensures continuity, expansion, and a legacy that lasts beyond what you can presently see. And hear this clearly: the shift in your life is lasting. The provision is not temporary, it remains. God is resourcing the full vision, not pieces, not fragments, not brief moments of relief. You have moved beyond the smallness of striving, anxiety, and self-reliance. The pressure to prove, force, and scrape by has been lifted. You are completely and permanently backed by heaven. Every step ahead is supported, every plan resourced, every assignment recognized. Nothing can undo it and nothing can stand in the way. God is not simply blessing you, He is unfolding a complete release of supernatural provision that aligns with your purpose, widens your influence, and secures your legacy. The season of lack, doubt, and struggle is over. A season of abundance, alignment, and unshakable confidence has begun. This is your inheritance. This is your moment. Your destiny is fully funded. You are chosen, equipped,